Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order for the Town of Brunswick Planning Board for April 17th, 2025. Will everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just as a heads up, I may lose my voice tonight. Suffering from some allergies here, so please bear with me. If you can't hear me, just raise your hand and we'll do it all over. Okay, our agenda this evening is as follows. This is posted on the town website and the town board. Number one, Paramount Building Group major subdivision. Applicant proposes a major subdivision on approximately 33-acre parcel of land, as well as construct a new road with a cul-de-sac and a water line extension on property located on the northeast corner of Spring Avenue Extension and Crick Road. Paramount Building Group of New York is the applicant. Number two, CDP Hills LLC, waiver of subdivision. Applicants seek approval for a two-lot subdivision for property located at 110 Lord Avenue, CDP Hills LLC, and Wolf Hills Ranch LLC of the applicants. Number three, Warnham, waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks a lot line adjustment to transfer approximately 0.42 acres to the adjacent parcel of property located at 13 Joy Lane. Mary McCarthy, Garden, hold on a second. Garden is the applicant. Number four, Riser, waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks a lot line adjustment to transfer approximately 5 acres to the adjacent parcel of property located at 52 Plant Lane. Henry Riser is the applicant. Number five, CBE North America, waiver of subdivision, site plan, and special use permit. Applicant seeks to subdivide 99.51 acre parcel to create two new lots of 24.96 acres and 74.55 acres and construct two community solar facilities on property located at 511 McChesney Avenue Extension. CBE North America Incorporated is the applicant. To start our meeting tonight, we will first review the minutes of April 3rd. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those? Are there any changes, amendments, additions? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to accept the minutes as they were submitted. We have a second. Is there any further discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, starting our agenda tonight, Paramount Building Group, major subdivision. I was just notified that they wish to be placed on the agenda for our next meeting on May 1st, I believe it is. So they are not in attendance tonight and will be taken off our agenda. So we'll go to number two, CDP Hills LLC, waiver of subdivision. How are you tonight?
Good, how about yourself?
Good.
Good evening, Lucas Richardson with the Environmental Design Partnership, representing CDP Hills, with permission of Mary and Carl Stoll and now permission of Dennis Bailey to conduct a two-lot subdivision and a lot line adjustment with Dennis Bailey, resulting in an additional 0.31 acres going to Mr. Bailey, and then the remaining lots, our land of Stoll, being divided into two lots along the way.
Okay. Now, at our last meeting, there was, you have changed the drawing since our last meeting, is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Could you explain that to the board, please?
Yeah, so we sought permission from Mr. Bailey to gift him 0.31 acres to resolve the issues with buildings that are currently encroaching. And so we've added a lot line adjustment to the southern portion of the east side of Bel Air Lane. And then the resulting lands will now be split. Lot 1 will remain as it was previously, and Lot 2 will just be the same thing, subtracting the 0.31 acres. And the other item that was requested for comment was there had been a PVC pipe in the yard here, and I talked to Mr. Stoll, who went out there, and he kicked it, and they pulled it out of the ground and said it was nothing, so it's gone now.
Okay. Does everybody have a copy of the new drawing? This is a refresher. There's several buildings that, I guess they're garages.
Temporary, some sort of storage structures, yeah, there's 2 campus buildings. There were 2 campus structures on the lot. Mr. Bailey had corrected them to sort Mr. Stoll's line. And then there's also a metal structure that is on both sides of the existing lot line. They're storage sheds.
We talked about this
That's correct.
Oh,
Oh,
no, they moved the property line. This is a new drawing.
they intended to give that land to Mr. Bailey.
Now, just a quick observation. There's proper setbacks on the campus structure as far as the new property line, that's correct, 23 feet.
That's correct.
But I did notice, and I did talk to the building department, there's a 15-foot setback on the metal building, but that was a pre-existing condition of
Yeah, Kevin didn't find an issue with that.
Yes, so it's not an issue. All right. I think you addressed the questions we had, obviously. That PVC pipe was not connected to like a air vent for a field or anything like that?
I don't believe so. Mr. Stoll felt comfortable removing it, so.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Excuse me. Now, this is gonna be road for the previous approved development. I wasn't here at the last meeting.
The intention right now is not to build anything. I can't speak to what the long-term plans are on the back parcel. That's not my purview here. But my understanding is that there is some intention to gain access to Vallejo Road as an emergency access. I don't believe at this time there's any intention of constructing anything on that lot.
To use as an emergency.
That's my understanding.
Primary road.
Not a- I believe there's still a gate there. And there's no intention of removing that.
Does the engineering department have any comments on it? Okay. Are you satisfied with that answer, Mike? Are you?
Yes.
We can't really make any difference at this point for us.
Correct.
We're just approving the waiver.
And knowing it's going to remain a separate lot, so.
Andy, I don't see any reason why we can't proceed ahead.
Right, this is a waiver, right, so. It's properly in front of you, and we'll also note that the applicant submitted an agricultural data statement, so that's in the record as well.
Okay.
This is not being merged to the big parcel?
No, that was removed.
So
They opted to keep it a separate parcel.
it's not gonna be a building lot, because it's not big enough, it's not gonna need anything.
It's large enough, as I understand it, subject to the building department, it would be
Yeah.
large enough to meet the zoning requirements for a building lot. It does have road frontage.
And we could proceed ahead with approval of this. If there's no other questions, I'll ask if anybody wants to make a secret determination on that. No?
I'll propose a negative declaration on the secret.
Okay. There's a second. Is there any further discussion on the secret? All those in favor? Any opposed? And I'll entertain a motion to approve the waiver. Is there any conditions with that?
One, for the board's consideration, would be the area proposed to be transferred to Bailey, be merged into the Bailey lot.
Okay.
But it doesn't maintain a separate third of an acre. Be merged into the Bailey lot. I don't see any other. It's not proposed for.
I mean, potentially it could be a building lot, and we need it, but it's big enough. It's under 5, I think it's 5 acres.
No, it's under- oh, just wait.
It's good.
Over an acre. We don't intend
Right.
I mean, there would be, if they decided to,
If
they'd
you
have to.
want to, they would need to obviously apply for a building permit, and at that point,
Yeah.
would require health department approval.
But that doesn't have to be a condition of approval, right?
There is public water, there's fire hydrant right here,
Yeah.
masonry block garage, there.
But no sewer.
No sewer.
Yeah, so it'd be water connection and septic. You can add the condition that would be required on application for building permit. That's within the board's
All
discretion.
right. You could want to do that? The board want to include that as a condition?
Yes.
Or don't you think it's necessary? Okay. We have 2 conditions on the approval. Does anybody want to make that motion to approve with those 2 conditions?
I'll make a motion with the two conditions.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're all set.
Could you clarify the conditions for me?
The first condition is that the parcel that is being subdivided for the lot line adjustment be included in the deed for transfer to the deed for Mr. Bailey. Correct. And then the second condition was if it was chosen to build on that lot and seek a building permit, then have
On lot 2.
on lot 2, that there would be Rensselaer County Health Department approval on a septic.
Do we have to split lot 1 from lot 2?
That's what the waiver is seeking, right? So
Is it 2 different actions, or we did it all in one?
you've done it all in one. It was basically a series of,
Okay.
yeah, I think that approval covers the waiver of subdivision to create lot 2 with a lot line adjustment to correct the,
And he's got to bring in the deeds?
generally, when land is required to be merged into a lot, when that's completed, and the deeds filed with the county clerk's office, just file a copy of that with the building department for this record.
Now, do you have to file a deed for each lot? The one that got reduced and the one that got expanded?
So what will happen here is, I'm presuming there'll be a new description for the lot 1,
We could do that.
but
Sorry.
they're already entitled to that, so they can deed out a portion of that lot, okay? There'll be a new description for lot 2, so that can get transferred. And then there'll be a description of the 0.31 acres that then gets merged into the existing Bailey deeds. So there's some
So the
descriptions and deed work.
3 descriptions he's gonna have to hand in.
A minimum of 2, and you don't need the description for lot 2. Okay, you're creating that tonight. But the building department has historically required, if there's a condition to merge it in, to confirm that with the building department, the merger deed is filed, just for the record.
But you changed lot 2, but they don't need the deed work for that?
But lot 2 never existed before you acted. It was all the Stoll lot. One lot on both sides of the road.
It can be in one deed.
There's one deed on both sides.
So there'll be one deed out of Stoll to presumably CDP Hills with the description of lot 2. And then a deed from Stoll to Bailey, which will then get merged into Bailey's existing deed.
And the original lot 1, you don't need a description for that after it's been changed?
At some point you will, I think, to create the
When
description.
they sell it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They would most likely just take this description and say accepting lot 2
Correct.
for the file.
I'm just, not so much about this project. We always do this, and we always get the description for the new lot that got the lot line adjustment, but we don't do anything for the lot that it came off of, but they're changed.
It is changed, and Lucas was correct. Many times you'll see in the deed a description saying accepting, and then there's another description because that parcel was previously deeded out. Gets to be a very long description of the land, as you know. Sometimes hard to follow, but that's many times what happens. Instead of creating a new description for what will be then the remaining Stoll lot. So,
Thank you all very much.
I have one question before you leave. You have a drawing here that's listed as a draft.
That's correct.
You're going to submit to the building department for stamping,
That's correct.
so you don't need these, right?
You can have them, yes, and we'll do a final check and review and then sign the map and bring it to the department first.
Okay,
All right. Thank you all very much.
thank you. Okay. Next is the 13 July.
Good evening, Nick Costa with Advanced Engineering, and the name tonight is Mary Martin, who has used the applicant for this lot line adjustment. We were here last, 2 weeks ago, and we're requesting similar to the application. We're also asking for a lot line adjustment. Both lots here. And there was a garage that was built. We heard last time, there was a condition on that built that it was on the property line, and the property line needed to be adjusted. And because he was selling the parcel, and she's here requesting the procedure to do the lot line adjustment. We did submit a bank statement since the last time. For the Wendy, the building department. So if there are any questions, we be more than happy to answer those questions. That's our question.
This looks pretty straightforward. I don't have any questions. Does anybody have any? Does engineering have any questions? Okay. The engineering is so much friendly. All right, I think this is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's obviously correcting a problem with the garage. I don't see any issues with it. If anybody has any, please speak up. Mike, do you have anything?
I think it's a simple waiver, lot line adjustment.
Okay. Dave? Linda recused herself, right? So, moving forward, I will entertain a secret determination on that. Does anybody wish to make that?
I'll make that motion.
There's a negative seeker, and who was the second? Okay. Second, okay. Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor? Any opposed? Now on the approval of the waiver, lot line adjustment, I don't believe there are any conditions that have to be made with this, so it's a straightforward motion to approve. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a second. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? You're all set.
Thank you.
I did look at one question, where did you get like a copy of the notes approving it?
Those should be on the website, probably in a week or so.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I did.
Does there have to be any conditions on version? File?
No, it's just a new description with a transfer.
Okay. Moving along. Henry. I don't know, I think they're gonna let us know that pretty soon, won't they? Sure. Okay.
That's what I was gonna borrow that.
Andy left it up his shoulder. Yeah.
Good evening. You guys should have smaller copies of the area the map is affected. It's a mile about that, don't it? Yep. Okay, so at the last meeting, we were talking about the lot line adjustment for lot 9. I'm gonna add some property from, which is lot 4 remaining lands, to lot 9, about approximately 5 acres. And also, what we wanted to do was build the house on that particular land and access the private road. And what the issue was that if we get more than 4 lots on the private road, we would have to do a flare apparatus road, which under the code was, that'd be 28 feet, all the different codes. So speaking with the building department, lot 4 is 284 acres, and it's highly unlikely that we're just gonna build one house on that acreage. So, we're gonna be updating this map, and we figured we'd put this note in there that for lot number 4, that if any, requests for a permit on that lot to build a house, Then the road would have to be brought up to the standard. And the node is on here. Kevin took a look at it, and so that way, we couldn't go in, no building permit would be issued until we either brought the road up to the standards for the fire apparatus, or commit to the planning department and actually did another subdivision. And there's also a couple other changes on the map that we were gonna do. One was down here by Riser Rock Lane. Right now, we're widening the road to 20 feet and really should have been on the original map. We're just adding that. And then the other change on the map would be just the property owner for this has changed, the Riser Rock Farms. So that'd be updated right there. So basically, with this language, if it's acceptable or it could be changed, if you wanted to add something, look at it, Andy. And we basically couldn't get a permit for that to add another house unless we upgraded the road. And so if we do that, the remaining land just stays as remaining lands, and then we have the 4 houses or less that's required to get 20 feet wide, which we want.
What was the dashed red line adjacent to the proposed driveway?
Is that like a roof property line?
What this is right here is, this is lot 9, and this is the land that I'm gonna be putting over. So this is the new lot line right here. And on the new map, I just wanted to come and show you what the changes are gonna be, and I'll have Rodney prepare a new map. But this would be the new lot line for lot 9, and then the house would be built there. And then there's an existing driveway that goes down here now to Riser Rock Lane. There'll be an easement granted for my daughter's house to access Riser Rock Lane through there. So it'll be the 4 houses, it'll be on lot 2, lot 3, my existing house, and then my daughter's house. So that'll give the 4 houses that would use the lane. And then before anything else could be added, we would have to either bring the road up to the standard or up to the planning board.
How long is the driveway to your daughter's house?
From here to there, it's actually 450 feet.
Are you cutting off access to the big lot, lot 4?
No,
Does that have a way to the,
yep, lot 4 has 2 accesses. It has one here that files down through there, and then also lot 4 has frontage on 351 down here. So lot 4 is still gonna have the frontage, but lot 9's frontage is still gonna be on Plant Lane. It's just gonna, rather than making a long driveway to go back to Plant Lane, we're gonna use the existing one here, and we'll have an easement for her to go this way. But the lot will always have frontage on Plant Lane, you know, just like the rest of these do.
and you said the building department reviewed this and they understood it?
Yep. We discussed it again today, and
At what point do you have to put,
like I was saying before, it's unlikely to build a house on 280 acres without either doing another subdivision, so that would mean coming to the planning board before we could do anything with it. So by having this note on the plan, you know, no permit could be issued unless we basically put a 28-foot road and whatever the standards are for the fire apparatus road for the one house.
At what point do you have to make it a town road and bring it to spec?
That would be if we did anything else with lot 4, we would have to come to the planning board, and then at that time,
Put a paved road in?
if it was gonna be more than one house. Right now, one house could be built on lot 4. That, it has frontage down here, so if you go down here and use the frontage there, and not even beyond the access road. But if it was built back here and had to use the access road, I think, one of the two things would happen. You'd have to widen that road to 28 feet, and then it could be, according to the code, fire code, for that one extra lot. But anything above that would have to be a subdivision, either minor or major, commit to the planning board.
Henry, you're taking that line out on lot 9, the pink line out? to
Yep.
Make that one big line, is that what you're doing? I wasn't here before, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, yeah, what we're doing right now, it's an existing 5-acre lot that was approved with Great Ledge subdivision. And we're basically just taking that line and pushing it right over here and creating a 10-acre lot. And then the frontage for the lot, so it'd be a legal lot, be on Plant Lane. And then the only thing we're doing is because it's better ground here, we have power here, and we also have the existing driveway. It's just less invasive to all this property, dig it all up, and that's all the woods right there. Cut a 1,500-foot driveway back there. We can build in the field here, which, it's closer to us here, it's my daughter. And then we can use existing roads for everything, rather than build new ones.
I'm sorry, I'm still confused on the length of the driveway. The property line shows 430 feet, almost 431 feet. Then you got this little red line down at the bottom. And then you got the distance from the lot line to the driveway. Sure that's what they measure? 500 feet? I don't have a scale on this.
Right. The house is just drawn on there, but just for purposes of showing where the house is gonna be. It'll be closer to the line here, so actually closer to the line, so you have the 430.
How much is that little red mark? How far is that?
Just right here coming down.
No, not the whole line, just from the corner down to the main driveway.
Yep.
How long is that?
Well, you got 430 feet plus about another 50 feet, so it's probably closer to, I apologize. It's, that would be another 50 feet, so 480, so close to 500 feet for driveway. Before it got to the Rise of Rock Lane.
Now, the actual lane though is not a town road.
No. It's private road. And anything over 500 feet has to have a turnaround. It has to be in there. So if it ends up, once it's all on the actual survey map, and if it ends up being over 500 feet, then we will show the turnaround on there.
Is that sort of penciled in there right now?
Yes.
That T up there? Now, do you need any bump outs at so many feet with fire code?
Yeah, every
But you have
500
those on the
feet.
lane, right?
How much? 150 feet, 150 feet, I think that.
If it's 20 foot in width, it doesn't need bump outs. So the whole entire road needs to be 20 feet to the daughter's house.
Right, so if I continued to 20 feet all the way up to my daughter's house, there'd be no bump outs required. And that's what our plan is.
Okay. And the existing road is 20 feet plus, isn't it?
Wait a second, say that again? I mean, he's got to, let's just forget the fact that he's not going all the way to Plant Lane, but the last 500 feet, yeah, he needs a bump out?
No, because of the length of the driveway, and the number of homes putting on there, needs to be 20 feet.
Okay.
To avoid, let me say that, to avoid the bump out, you need 20 foot. Otherwise, they have to
I
bump
just-
out every 500 feet.
Just for the record or whatever, I'm very uncomfortable with putting 5 houses on a dirt road and just to get around having to put in a town road to specs. I mean, if the guy who owns lot 12 says, I don't want a town road there, I mean, I don't know. Maybe everybody's contingent on lot 12 saying, do whatever you want.
Well, the way it is right now, we have the 4 lots, and that's something that's already existing. We're just adding the access from this lot line adjustment. Any further development on lot 4 is gonna have to be a town road at that point. These already exist on here. Right now, the road is actually a little bit less than 20. We're working on it to bring it up to the 20 feet on that, so that'll be finished shortly. So 20 feet will continue all the way up through, and the fire code is for 4 houses, to either have the 20-foot width all the way up, or every 500 feet, you have to have a 20-foot wide by 50-foot turnaround. And it's just, we chose to go 20 feet wide, it just makes it a lot safer for.
I think I understand what Dave is talking about. If you have lot 12, you live in lot 12, right?
Right.
You sell that. That is the access, the road is on lot 12's access to the highway. So if they deny that, the private road is actually on lot 12.
Right, but there's a private road agreement that's attached to the deed, and it's a deed requirement for each lot. So if lot 12 is sold, it basically, everybody has an easement plus a right to use that road. Also, they have the additional where they could put separate driveways in. That's why we made sure every lot has separate frontage along with lot 9. So say worst case scenario, something happens, I don't know what kind of legal battle on 12, I don't really plan on selling it, but if it does down the road, they would have to have some sort of, I don't think they could close on the house having the deed restriction in there that everybody can use the driveway. It's filed in the county, it's a part of the deed.
Andy, is that true?
It is, so,
Not that I doubt you.
no, not at all.
No,
Not at
yeah.
all. There was the requirement to have the private road maintenance agreement. The terms of that does spell out the rights and also the obligations of each of the lots that are party to that, so those 4 lots.
Right.
If you're gonna have a 5th lot, you're gonna have to amend
Amend it,
that
yeah.
agreement, so there'll be 5 lots. And that spells out, as I said, the rights and the obligations. That was reviewed. And how that works is clearly that was one of the conditions to the earlier approval. It's noted on that plat that there's a private road maintenance agreement. When the deed's out for these lots, the private road maintenance agreement is recorded and the deeds will reference that. And when you take title to it, you take subject to the rights and the obligations under that private road maintenance agreement. That's how it works as long as the road stays private. And that's, in this case, the lots were all legal because each of them maintained the leg down to the public road to comply with the minimum frontage. I have been involved with somewhat of a similar project where the lots themselves were otherwise landlocked. And the board, in that case, as Henry has done here, required, no, we want you to carry at least 15 feet down to the public road. So this plat has done that. And if these lots turned into a bloody war over access, worst case scenario, as Henry said, is each of them could ultimately construct an individual driveway up to the home on the lot. That's how they work. So Henry's correct when he describes that the deeds out would reference the private road maintenance agreement, and that agreement sets forth the rights and obligations of how this would work. I also know, Kevin, that if there is a change to the plat that would require the private driveway to be 20 feet wide, that should likewise be referenced in the maintenance
Yep,
agreement.
right there is, that's one of the notes right there, roadway to be 20-foot minimum, so we're gonna add that to the new map. So that was one change. Second change was the language for the owners, and then the third change would be the note that, for lot number 4. So basically, everything is existing here, and all we're asking for is the lot line adjustment, which is just making the lot line bigger, and then to be able to have the access to the existing roads that are there.
Henry, is that gonna be an easement through your daughter?
Yes, there'll be an
From lot
easement, that's what that highlighted area would be, so
That's gonna be an easement.
that's gonna be an easement across lot 4's property, right down to the private road, and it's consistent with all the other ones. Lot 3 has an easement across lot 4's to get to it. Lot 2, same thing. So they all basically have an easement across property to get to that.
But this is gonna be an additional easement from lot 4, not from, the road here. Or is this road going to your house is part of lot 4? Or part of, your lot?
The roadway is part of lot 12, which is
Okay.
the center lot.
But you'll be doing an easement off of lot 4 for your daughter.
Yes.
Just to make something clear for the planning board, our responsibility with this is the approval of a lot line adjustment. Correct?
That's how it started. What it sounds like is there's a proposal to amend the subdivision plat that's currently recorded.
Right.
So technically, I think this is gonna, this was a 4-lot, if memory serves me right, minor earlier?
It was a lot line adjustment and a minor subdivision.
Yeah. And what
We added
it
to-
sounds like you're gonna be doing is amending the minor subdivision plat to show all of this, right? So I do think it sounds like an amendment to the existing minor subdivision plat.
Right, that would be the different things we're changing.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in the context of that, you'll show the lot line adjustment for lot 9. So just administratively, it sounded like it started as a waiver application. It sounds like it's transformed into you're amending a minor subdivision plat. And
Okay.
you can coordinate with Wendy on what would be required for that. So you're kind of doing everything under the auspices of amending the existing
Okay,
minor subdivision plat.
so this is going to require a different application.
That's what I'm thinking,
Okay,
just to make sure it's done administratively with the building department.
okay.
The last time you were here, you mentioned that you had turnarounds along the existing road.
I'm sorry, I'm going deaf.
The last time that you were here, you mentioned that you had turnarounds existing along the road.
Yes, there is a couple turnarounds. There's 2, at least 2 existing.
Could we show those on the map or indicate that those are they in part of the private road maintenance agreement?
They're-
So Linda, under the first proposal that got missed, we did not show that on that plaque. That like it shows, I believe it's 12 or 15 foot wide. Roadway, but we did not show the required turnarounds there, that overlook.
Okay.
Inadvertently, but this plat, this revised, needs to show 20-foot width now.
You know, you correct that.
Legally.
And the turnaround.
No.
Because-
Oh, I see,
The whole
okay.
road is 20-foot width. Turnaround's not.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
So you're gonna get the drawings revised, you're gonna give us a new application form. And, how long is that gonna take you?
We could have it prepared for the next meeting. I just, Andy, have you had a chance to review the language that we're using on lot 4?
You know, I haven't, this is the first time I'm seeing it today.
I think so. As long as we're okay with that, then I can have them add that. You want to,
I can probably get that coordinated with Wayne, I'm gonna have Wayne review that too, by the middle part of next week.
yeah,
How long
that'd
does it
be
take?
fine.
So,
We could add that into the map.
So you wanna be put on our agenda for our next meeting on May 1st?
Yeah.
All right, does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Rice? I guess we're all set for today.
Will we have updated maps? Will we have updated drawings?
Yep. All right. Nothing's ever easy with you, man.
Well, to give you guys something to look at. We'll cover it.
All right. Okay. Next on our agenda is the CVE. Are they here? Okay. Okay.
David Sholin from CBE.
Okay. What do you got for us here? I know we received some.
So I think the hope was, at this point, for you all as the agents to either vote by the negative declaration on, sorry, yes. The hope was that, we've gone through with the comments from Mr. Bonesteel's, office, and we were hoping for a vote on secret, vote of negative declaration.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. We got the visual impact assessment. And that's from, this one?
Yep.
Okay. And then we got the stormwater pollution prevention plan. Would our engineering department like to comment on those, or?
I don't think we have any visual.
Okay.
We written, 3 rounds of comments.
Everybody got a copy of this, right? Everybody got a copy of, other things here, the maps and so forth. A couple of questions.
Sure.
We noticed that there's some, that activity, through National Grid, coming down New Jersey Avenue as far as replacing poles and so forth and so on. Is that in connection with CVE?
No.
Second question I have is, what is there, 16,000 panels here?
I don't know the numbers on.
Well, let's use the number 16,000 at this point. Are those already purchased, or do you still have to purchase those?
No, they're not purchased. I'm sorry? No, they are not purchased. They're not purchased.
Do they-
No.
Where are they coming from?
They come from overseas, either Vietnam or India or Malaysia,
Not China?
not China.
Would be a difference in the tariffs, is that gonna make a difference on your project?
Absolutely.
I know these aren't directly related to planning board normal questions, but I just thought,
No. Valid question.
it seems to me like,
Yes.
okay,
I have some questions about the visionary
Okay.
assessment. You show some renderings of proposed plantings. Is there an estimated year when? I'm assuming this is not at time of installation.
No, I think they typically do it in about 5 years. But I can get a specific answer.
And then there's a number of times in the visual assessment where it references vegetation will prevent any views of the project site. I think that word prevent is used several times.
If I recall, that's used to describe at certain places where it seemed like, according to the visual assessment, there was a direct line of sight. Because of existing vegetation, though, you can't actually see the site from this.
So the majority of these photographs were taken during the summertime, leaf on, and when I look at the Google Earth image, the majority of the existing vegetation around, at least along the east side of the property, is all deciduous except for one or possibly two evergreens. And when I drive Moon Road today, I can see the existing house and the field in front of it. So I'm presuming that I will be able to see during the months when the leaves are not in season, the facility from Moon Road, which is not part of the screening in the document. And the same goes for the Garfield School. I can see that house in the hill
Right.
when I drive by the Garfield School. Look for some clarification on that, please.
It's the same when you're up on Crick Road. It's trees or leaves or no leaves, it's a clear shot looking up at the house on Crick Road.
Quick,
Yeah, that's off Route 2. Across-
Menemsha and Crick. You have a
It's up
picture
by
there.
It's up by the farm there. I travel that every day. I can see Deacon's house.
Look, I will acknowledge it's very difficult to find a piece of land that can't be seen from anywhere.
No, I'm not saying that it
No,
shouldn't be.
yeah.
I'm just asking you to clarify
Yep.
the statements that were made and potentially, there seems to be an awful lot of planting going on. Just wonder if it's consistent with the entire site.
On your comment notwithstanding about finding a piece of land that can't be seen, this land is one of the more common pieces of property in the town of Brunswick because of its elevation. So,
So in previous sessions, we've tried to show that actually there are a lot of places that we have been asked to actually identify. We went out, we took movies, pictures, et cetera. And again, I'm not trying to say that it can't be seen, I recognize it. And on many of those roads, it appears you can see the hill and then again, there's existing vegetation that makes it very difficult to see. So, again, I'm just trying to explain this.
I'm not the one that wants to put in this.
That's fine.
Fine.
That's it.
Correct.
I just think that this is a key bad spot. I'd like to make a motion to have a positive treatment. I have a number of that I can go into, but I'm not sure how long we'll have to talk.
Understand that I think the board would be well served to get engineering comments for the board's consideration. The seeker process, given that there's a full environmental assessment form, you should have some discussion with your consulting engineer going through part 2 and 3. That will assist the planning board in ultimately making its secret determination. That could result in a pos deck, could result in a neg deck, but procedurally, the motion may be a bit premature because Wayne should assist you in reviewing the part 2 and 3 in order to make that determination.
Is there a
So we
consulting?
can't make any determination tonight because of what you've done? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying to the board, that's your decision. Okay? This is the lead agency's decision. Procedurally, the seeker regulations provide a part 2 and 3 to the environmental assessment form. Legally, that does need to be completed and reviewed in order to make your seeker determination, either a positive or a negative declaration. That has not been done yet. Okay? So we'll need, and Wayne will assist you, and what in the past he's done is prepare a draft part 2 and 3, provided it to the board, and then you review that with him and discuss it. That then leads to the determination made in part 3. So as a matter of procedure, your motion's premature because Wayne does need to review part 2 with you, and you use the information in part 2 then to make your determination in part 3.
So should Don withdraw for the record? It's
Yes, my suggestion would be yes. It's procedurally
I'm sorry, say it again.
premature.
procedurally, you should withdraw your motion.
Okay.
Last step, until we go through first 2 and 3 with Wayne on the determination.
Parts 2 and 3 of the EAF. And
All right.
And Wayne will help
I'll
you in
withdraw the motion
Okay.
for now.
absolutely, and it's within the board's discretion again. The secret determination, either a positive or negative declaration, that's the board's determination. Hasn't been made yet. Okay? And,
Well, I
but
reserve the right to come back to it.
that's correct. But the record will show you will have reviewed part 2 with Wayne and considered the record and the information gleaned from part 2 to make that determination.
Do you know if the office has started that process?
I don't.
Okay. All right, I think we're stuck right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. Is there, I'm just kind of curious, how can we best be notified when we're ready? I feel like I wasted everyone's time by coming here tonight. So,
No, we got information from you and we reviewed it. We asked a few questions.
right. That's
I
right.
don't even know it.
I don't think I don't think it's a waste of time. I think we need it to be updated when you.
Okay.
I think that's, don't think.
So,
I would
what's the typical
suggest this,
timeframe?
I would suggest this, that Wayne, is Wayne on vacation?
Yeah, he's out this week. He'll be back next week.
Next week. He probably needs a little bit of time to review this, obviously, and come up with, proper part 1 and 2. Really, you think he'll be able to put something together by May 1st?
I would think, yeah.
May 1st actually is, I believe. No, it's just 2 weeks. Let's put it in Wayne's hands right now, when he gets back. If he can get something together by the 1st, you get it to us for review. and I'll have him notify you. As to whether to attend the May 1st meeting or before the, I'm leaning towards it's probably gonna be the 15th, the second meeting.
Again, I'm not sure what he's believing, what he hasn't. You know, we have a lot of comments over the last several months.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's close or not close, but we'll check with him and we'll check next week.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we'll tentatively put you on the agenda for the first.
That sounds fair.
And hopefully he'll be communicating with you and we can put yours on.
All right.
All right?
I got it before you run.
Yeah.
Maybe, Russ, there's new poles on Moon On Road.
Okay.
And the people who set the poles said they were connected to your solar farm.
There,
They say, I asked that question to them, remember?
you did.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the answer.
So I had said no, because we don't have, we have not authorized National Grid to proceed with upgrades. And it's very expensive to upgrade the electrical grid without a project that's been approved. It shouldn't be putting up holes of cost. So I'm happy to double check and get back to you all, but to the best of my knowledge, that is not for us.
Okay.
I mean, that was our first reaction. We thought it was a little premature.
Absolutely.
And,
Oh, yeah, and then, you know, there's another substation that way, and I didn't know if you were gonna run power to that, and, but there's not enough room in Sickaway. So I you know, things get
Yeah,
carried away when
I
you.
wish I knew.
do you know which power station you're going to be
I
directed
don't, you know, I do know, I don't have that information. We certainly have that. I'm happy to get back to you guys with that information.
Because we were under the state, in earlier conversations that you're now in the queue for this. And beyond you, there's not much more room for in the current substation. So I'm curious, it seems to me like it's bouncing around from one substation to another. I don't know how that happens, but
It shouldn't be, but again, we're not having, so, you know, we have a report from National Grid. They tell us how much money it's gonna cost. We make a deposit, but they are not supposed to be doing work without an agreement with us to actually proceed. So they shouldn't be spending money that they're expecting us to. They may just be doing their own upgrades.
Well, I heard it from somebody who talked to one of the guys setting the poles, and so I.
I'll find out.
we have you tentative on our meeting for the 1st of May, and hopefully we can get this information to you by then so we can
Great.
move along.
Great.
All right?
Thank you all.
Thank you for
All
coming
right.
tonight.
See you in a couple weeks.
All right, that concludes our agenda. We have one item under new business. And that is Mr. Angster, who's here. Was he in our last meeting? No, he wasn't. Okay. He is proposing to do an amendment to the PDD at Johnson Associates LLC at Brunswick Square. Wants to put a concrete pad for 2 garbage dumpsters in the back, one for cardboard and recyclables and one for garbage. Right now, he is not here tonight. Is there anybody representing him tonight?
No, there's not.
But under new business, it's not necessary for the applicant to be here, so we're just gonna review this and decide whether we want to put it on the agenda for any further information. So there has been a letter submitted You were here at our last meeting, there was a gentleman after came up, his name was James Murray. He lives on McChesney Avenue, and he had some concerns about the dumpsters and the papers and garbage that was flying around in the wind onto his property and so forth and so on. In general, in the back of the strip of buildings there. So he has sent us a letter. I've received this letter. I don't believe does everybody have a copy of it?
They do.
So he's just making his comments in writing that he made in our meeting. So that should go on the record, and Mr. Angster should get a copy of that if he hasn't. Okay, we have one map here. And this is the actual approved amendment that was approved site plan in 2009. And I believe a little X there in yellow, if you can see that, is where he's proposing to put this pad. I don't know what this one is. This is just a thinking. Anyway, we have two reference drawings, and I need to small.
Where is this gentleman's property in relation to?
He is located like down here.
On
McChesney Avenue. He is on the corner, I believe, of the McCarty Lane and McChesney Avenue. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So he isn't like right in back of where the proposed dumpsters are, but he, apparently these existing dumpsters get overflowing with paper and stuff like that.
This is showing the dumpster that's behind street corner and down here behind my house.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to show oriented correctly.
I believe most of the garbage in particular is generated by the restaurant. Is that correct?
Well, what they have, there are two original 8-yard dumpsters there that are for the whole strip mall. But two dumpsters, one is a 4-yard dumpster and one is a 6-yard dumpster. And those are Wingstop's dumpsters. And what he's proposing to do is to put a concrete pad under those two dumpsters
Okay.
with ballards, with 2 ballards. And then his plan is to do plantings around them.
Now, this drawing shows two dumpsters right next to the one building. Are they going to remain also?
The dumpsters, he's not getting rid of any dumpsters.
Okay.
Does the town require an enclosure?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't know if the town required an enclosure around the dumpster. And the code enforcement officer has indicated that no, that is not.
But there was suggestions to fence it in.
Well, that was my suggestion, was, Mr. Murray has complained. Well, responded and didn't witness the garbage, overflowing from the dumpsters and throwing it along the CBD property. And across the street as well, so it was a suggestion I had made to Mr. Inkster, that might better contain the garbage if there's an enclosure around it. There's no way for us to enforce to do that. It was just simply a suggestion to help contain one of the dumpsters overflow, but he did add locks to the dumpsters, I believe, so the dumpsters are locked.
Okay.
His plan is not to
Just to
enclose.
clarify something, he's still going to maintain the 2 dumpsters next to the 8,000 square foot building there. I don't know what that is now. Is that the cannabis store?
Yeah.
Okay. And now he's gonna put 2 more, or no? These are gonna replace.
Those 2 are already existing. Those are Wingstop's dumpsters. There's a 4-yard dumpster and a 6-yard dumpster used primarily, those are Wingstops. They pay for their own dumpsters.
Oh,
The
okay.
other 2 dumpsters are from Angster, Paul Angster pays for those for the rest of the strip mall. Those are 2 8-yard dumpsters.
To include the ones towards Music Street? The large stores up there too?
Yeah, well,
So they
yeah,
have
they're
to come
for
down-
the,
Down here?
yeah, Wingstop has their own dumpsters. The other 2 dumpsters are for the rest of the strip mall.
Wingstop has a
Okay. I have a question for the building department. When they build pads for dumpsters and stuff, do they have to have like a center drain or anything like that? Because my understanding is most of these dumpsters have drain holes in them. So, you know, for rainwater and so forth and so on. Okay. But obviously, you know, you can get other stuff draining out of it also. But, I was just wondering if he built a pad, whether he had to have a catch basin or something in the middle. Okay. All right, well, this is under new business. I think we can pass along to him some of the comments, if you haven't already, about the exposure and so forth and so on. If he hasn't got a copy of this letter from Mr. Murray, I know he's been contacted in the past. Yeah. I think the building department has been contacted with Mr. Murray. Okay. He said he was planning on locking it, but he hasn't made a comment as to whether he wants to. All right. So, does anyone have any questions on this, on the information we've got so far? Then we're going to put it on our agenda. Agenda for our next meeting on May 1st. And we'll see what he has to offer. Now, in the process of doing this amendment, this is actually an amendment, right? to the-
No, this is a site plan application. The PDD, this use would be within the scope, as I understand, of the PDD approval for the site. But what you've required in the past is when there's a change to the site, it does prompt site plan review. So this application, I just reviewed it as a site plan application.
Okay. Does that now require a public hearing?
Again, within the board's discretion.
I personally don't think putting 2 dumpsters on a pad is that.
But that's, again, site plan is within the discretion to hold a public hearing.
Okay, we'll cross that bridge when I come. All right. Is there any other new business?
No, that's it.
Okay. Is there any old business? Does anybody have any things they wish to discuss before
Can you review your agenda?
we are gonna review the agenda? I have Paramount Building, again, maybe. Henry Rising. CVE is tentative. And I believe, based on our, we have Marie's News scheduled to come in, is that correct?
That is correct.
Is Oakwood Avenue now, they did their sketch plan review the last time. Would you-
Subject to a submission of a full site plan application.
So then they would be under new business. at this point or what? I'm not
Well,
sure.
that, quite frankly, we haven't, I think, addressed that before. They've been here on what amounts to a sketch plan.
Yeah.
Has the full site plan been submitted?
Not yet.
All right,
I think when it is, it's probably a formal agenda. item. I mean, you've heard from the applicant.
okay.
Minutes is proposed for the May 1st agenda. Really.
Really, should we put it on as tentative or wait until the application comes in?
I think tentative.
That's the only thing that's on for, Maureen Muse isn't on there.
So, just going backwards again here and redoing the agenda. Paramount is on. Riser is on. CVE is tentative. Angster is on. Marie's Muse is on. And Merle is tentative. So we have 2 tentatives and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 agenda items.
Russ, if I may, Paramount would like to be tentative.
Okay.
Did Marie's Muse do, their zoning board is not until,
It's Monday.
Monday evening, yeah.
Do you think these people could be contacted if they're not coming in, say, at least notify us by Monday or Tuesday? So
I don't think that that's a problem.
Just-
Yeah, I think that's respectful.
Does anybody have any questions on the agenda? Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
that's a-
All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Well, you know, just email us.
You guys-